Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, this is Megneous and welcome back to another episode of TimeShot. I thought since we're having some difficulty recording videos recently due to the Korean social integration program, as terrible as it is, taking up all of my time and making me tired and basically fall asleep as soon as my classes are done, the classes that I teach, that is. I thought we would come back into TimeShot because it's been about a week or more since our last episode, and I noticed that there's some crazy dinosaur stuffings going on in front of April's house. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that this was done by Poet, because Poet is the only other person that I know of other than myself who is so into dinosaurs on the server. And he also happens to know that April is deathly afraid of dinosaurs, and as a result he's probably making fun of her and teasing her by putting these ridiculous giant dinosaurs. They look sort of like Deinonychus actually, except super big. I don't even know how he built this thing, but Probably use platforms? Not platforms, what are those? Slabs, yeah, that's what those are called. And this is a stair. Obviously. And freaking Poet's so good at building, man. So good at building. That ribcage, though. That is so impressive. But yeah, so there are two of those guys. So that's in front of April's place. We're going to go over to the hospital and add some wool. I don't really have that much wool. So it's going to be a little bit disappointing, but nonetheless, we have to record something, and I thought I would go ahead and talk about stuff. And today, since I also decided to try out a sort of a feel back to nostalgia days, I used to play Final Fantasy XI back in the old days. It was great. It was my favorite game ever. And I thought that I would try Final Fantasy XIV. Is it 14? Yeah, there should be 14. Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, or whatever it's called. Basically, they started it off being the worst of both worlds, being both, like, long and grindy, and also being very unlike the original Final Fantasy XI, which basically made everyone hate it. They decided to rework it. It took, like, 2 years. It came out again in November of last year, I think. So it hasn't even been out a year yet. There's been enough time for some sort of economy to grow around it. Honestly, I'm not really impressed with the economy right now. I think they've done a lot of really terrible things to the economy. And I'll talk about that in a bit. But however, I just thought that I would talk about a little bit of something which is dear and close to my heart when it comes to video games in general. Video games, guys, I've probably mentioned this before, but video games are supposed to be challenging. Now, they're not supposed to be so challenging that it's literally impossible for you to get anything done, where you hate your life, you, like, jump off a cliff or something ridiculous like that. But video games are generally, unless you're playing something like a graphic novel on the, what are those called? Graphic interactive novels? I don't know, basically storybooks that you go through by clicking. Unless it's something like that. Generally, video games should not be something that, just anyone can do anything anytime they want, just because, they pay a monthly fee to play a game. I'm sure there are plenty of MMOs over the years which have been, gradually depreciated due to the whole, casualization of online gaming. But Final Fantasy XI, even back when it was still, big and the deal, It never did that, and admittedly when it got old it started to, but the whole point is that Final Fantasy XI stood out among MMOs as being one of those games. Oh, Huck's online! Hello, Huck. Hiya, Huck. But Final Fantasy XI stood out as one of those games that didn't hold your hand. It was very similar to EVE Online in that fashion. It was like, this is the world, love it, hate it, it is what it is, and it's gonna destroy you unless you prepare accordingly. And as a result of that, the Final Fantasy XI culture, let's say, I don't know if any of you actually agree that MMOs can have cultures, but since, League of Legends is basically a cesspool of ignorance and hatred, and other games are moderately decent, admittedly, LoL is not an MMO, but nonetheless, different games can have different atmospheres online. Final Fantasy XI sort of created this very team-oriented atmosphere because you couldn't level up in Final Fantasy XI unless you were Beastmaster, I guess. Solo, it didn't work very well. It was terrible. So if you wanted to level up, you had to trust in other people. Other people had to know what they were doing. You all had to, like, have your gear all set up. You had to have the right food. You had to know how to play your class well. And not just decently, I mean well. Because the things that you have to kill in order to actually make some decent experience points are going to be, like, 4 levels higher than you. And things that are the same level as you could own you in Final Fantasy XI. Everything was out to get you all the time and was going to destroy you and eat your face and sell your family to, I don't know. It was terrifying. In order to get to the level, like, 18 to 25, I think that was the level sort of area, Quiffam Island. In order to get there, when you were, like, level 18 after Volcrum Dunes, you had to run across, like, the entirety of a continent through a leveled area with, like, level 45s in it, I think? And these things could see or hear you from so far away that you were basically owned if you got anywhere near them. It was just not a game that held your hand at all. And it was great because of that. Everyone worked well together. People have been working on things. This is different. This is fancier than the last time we were here. I like it. Wait. Did you... Okay, good. The sheep are still here. We're good for now. No problems. I'm gonna grab some more wool. But the whole point is that when confronted with a difficult situation, confronted with strife, pain, and suffering, the community of Final Fantasy XI came together and they did the right thing. They worked it out. They basically died a whole lot. There was a death penalty too. I think it was 10% of your EXP you lost every time you died. For that level, that is. So you could level down and then no longer be able to use the equipment that you just bought. That was great too. But due to these hardships, the Final Fantasy XI community was amazing, and it worked together, and there was never really a moment where you were truly alone. Also due to the fact that you couldn't really buy a whole lot of stuff from vendors, and the fact that all of the crafting professions were intertwined with one another to where one crafting profession would make a prerequisite item for another craft's crafting. Due to all of this, the craftsmen, whatever you want to call them, they worked well together too. They had, like, guilds of people that chilled together. They hung out and chat and just, like, shot the breeze while they were building their stuff. And just in general, because you couldn't buy things from vendors, you had to, again, rely on other human beings to get your stuff done. And due to all of these interactions and things like that, Final Fantasy XI was just an amazing game. Now, admittedly, not that many people played it compared to World of Warcraft because, let's be honest, stupid people could not play Final Fantasy XI very well. And when I say stupid people, I mean, like, you didn't have to be a genius to play Final Fantasy XI, but needless to say, the vast majority of people could not play Final Fantasy XI because they were too used to getting immediate returns and immediate self-satisfaction and, oh, I've been playing this class now for 2 weeks and I'm max level, and that didn't happen in Final Fantasy XI. Near the end, apparently, it could, but Final Fantasy XI was no longer really Final Fantasy XI at that point. But when I played before Level Sync came out, you could play a class for like a year, and maybe by the end of the year be reaching level cap. Maybe. That depends on if that was your first time leveling a class or not, because if it's the first time, oh no. It's gonna take much longer than that, because you have to do like your sub-job quest, you have to level up all of your relevant sub-jobs. It was so complex and it took so long that people really bonded. Now, Final Fantasy XIV, I'm halfway to level cap on one job, and I've only been playing it for like half a day. Technically, I've had an account now for 24 hours, but I haven't been playing that entire time. And I'm literally like currently I'm level 28 out of 50 for my fisherman class. Which apparently now, crafting skills and stuff are now jobs rather than crafting skills. I don't know. It's weird. You become a chef by equipping like a frying pan. I don't know. But I just wanted to mention that the casualization of games, although technically brings in the company more money, does not do good things for the community. The fact is that Final Fantasy XIV now, rather than being forced to party with other people and being forced to go up against monsters that will eat your face, you can solo the entire way to level 50. Literally the entire way. You don't need other people. You can buy all of your equipment from vendors. You don't need to use the marketplace, which means the marketplace is basically empty because there's no demand for anything. Everything you can buy from vendors. Like, why would anyone make a crow fly lure for fishermen if fishermen can go and buy it from a vendor for like 200 gil? Why would anyone build that? They can't make any money off that. So it just... the entire economy's crap, in my personal opinion. People say like, oh, you have to get to in-game and then look at the in-game economy, and I'm like, why should I judge a game based on its in-game? I should judge the game based on everything that it is. Final Fantasy XI not only had an amazingly long, difficult, and very complex leveling sort of thing going on before in-game, but it had in-game too. I never found out what in-game was like, because I never actually reached level cap after like 5 years of playing. But, needless to say, I just wish that RPGs were serious still, you know? I remember when I was younger, RPGs were like a really serious thing. People were like, oh, only nerds play those because they're hard and stuff like that. And now today, there's rest EXP, there's level syncing, there's monsters that stop chasing you after you run a certain distance from them, and I'm like, you know, back in my day, you could train an entire area back to spawn, or back to the zone. That's what we called it in Final Fantasy XI, but back to zone. People would yell like, goblin train to zone, and then everyone would get the heck away from zone, because everyone knew that the goblins would come after them afterwards. And you would lose your EXP. That's all there was to it. It was an amazingly difficult and yet rewarding game, because when you did finally reach that next level, that next milestone, when you did finally reach level 30 and equip your new piece of armor, it meant something. It was meaningful. You accomplished something. You overcame the odds. But in Final Fantasy XIV, I don't feel accomplished at all, because I've played for less than 24 hours and I'm more than halfway through a job. I don't get that. I don't like that. It doesn't make me happy. It makes me sad, really. When I reach the max level for fishing, I'm probably just gonna be like, meh. And then I'm probably gonna quit playing. I just thought that, out of respect for Final Fantasy XI, I would try it. Just for the nostalgia's sake. And on that topic, in terms of time spent, I really didn't spend that much time playing it at all. Like, it was just, you know, yesterday afternoon or something like that. Meanwhile, I'm also spending a ton of time recently studying for the Korean Social Integration Program, taking up all of my time other than the fleeting moments of fishing. And, yeah, needless to say, I'm not getting as much sleep as I should. There's real life stuff going on. Life is so stressful, and it's unfortunate because this is the summer. I should be, like, pushing out lots of videos because more people are going to be watching our channel and stuff like that, but unfortunately, I don't have the time. More like, if I quit doing all of my tutoring, I would have plenty of time, because that would give me, like, an extra 10 hours per week, I think. Something like that. But unfortunately, money and paying rent and buying food, these things sort of prevent me from being able to do such. So, you guys just have to bear with me and be understanding when the videos take a little bit of time to come out. I'm very sorry about the last couple of days. I will do my best to fix that. But as usual, just like in the beginning, as always, real life does come first because, you know, if I lose my home, you guys would never see another video again because I'd probably die outside in, like, a monsoon or something. It is monsoon season here in Korea, by the way. It has rained every day for the past 4 days. Torrential downpours. Terrifying. I don't think it's gonna be flooding again like it did maybe 4 years ago, 3 years ago. There were like cars being washed down the river and stuff like that. Oh man, that was a terrible time. But I'm pretty sure that's not gonna happen. I'm pretty sure it's just normal monsoon season. These guys are not making any more wool for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. But yes. It is difficult for me to remember which way I'm going now, since everything looks so different. No, our parkour course with the lily pads. It has disappeared. Oh well. But yeah. Don't ask me why I took the time to go on a rant about Final Fantasy XIV in Minecraft, but everyone knows that TimeShot is generally, for most people involved, including Poet, TimeShot's sort of the just let's sit down and talk series. So that's what I thought I would do today. I would talk about what was on my mind, and on my mind there are many things, many complaints about the casualization of MMOs. I don't know. It makes me sad. It makes me really upset, actually, because Final Fantasy XI, you guys, maybe most of you are too young, because I played Final Fantasy XI when I was, like, in my early teens. This is, like, ridiculous. But, needless to say, oh yeah, I met my first girlfriend on Final Fantasy XI. That's a great story. I may have told you guys that story before in an earlier video, I don't know. Maybe I'll tell you one day. But needless to say, Final Fantasy XI was just probably the best RPG that I've ever played in my entire life, and probably ever will, to be honest. And meh. Just I had very high expectations for Final Fantasy XIV, and I was let down. I was let down so hard. I have no idea where I want to put the windows for this. Do I have... How much glass do I have? Do I have any lapis on... I do have lapis on me. Okay. Can I... do this? That is not what I wanted to do, but close enough. Yeah, that's good. Alright, let's see. How did we make these windows? They're one off the bottom. Yeah, alright. Maybe if we do it like that. I don't know if this is gonna look good at all. And I don't have a silk touch, so I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna see how it turns out. I'm really sort of surprised this thing hasn't caught on fire yet, to be honest. Sort of seems like one of the things that would have by now. Yep, that looks okay. Sure, why not? I don't think we're gonna have enough for this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna run out. Alright, time to grab some more. Oh, I need to run over here. Alright. It doesn't look bad at all. I like it, I like it. We need something in here though. Let's see, how many wide is this? I want it to come from here though. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, so maybe... Make those 3 high. Does that look good? Yeah, looks good enough. Sure, why not? Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn all of this into the blue glass. That is... Okay, so I apparently do not have enough glass. I need to make more. And I need to make a new stairwell. That should not be there. Is that good? That's not good. It's not gonna work. Okay, there we go. That'll have to do for now. Huh, yeah, I don't really like this giant area with nothing in it. We're gonna have to decorate it with something. I don't really know with what yet, but we'll figure it out. It'll be okay. But for now, that's all the time I have to record this episode of TimeShot, so thank you so much everyone for coming out. My apologies for the rant, but this is TimeShot. I mean, that's what TimeShot is for saying what's on your mind, right? Letting our fans get to know us personally. All that good stuff. So thanks so much everyone for watching. My name is Megneous, and I will see you next time.